And to be respectful of your time, we're going to go ahead and jump right in. I want to bring up Mr. Patrick Visconti, who is going to lead us in prayer this evening. Mr. Visconti.
Good evening, folks. Thanks for joining us. We'll begin just with a quick prayer in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for the opportunity to come together as a community. We ask for your blessings specifically upon our senior class of 2021 and upon their families. Be with us tonight as we talk about the next steps, as we look towards the future, Lord, as we look to be your hands and feet to one another. And we ask, Lord, that you just be with each and every one of our students as they move through the final weeks of their time here at Santa Margarita, and with each and every one of our families as they deal with the transition of a son or a daughter moving on to the next step. In your name we pray, amen. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, amen. I now turn it over to Miss Caitlin Stutsky, who will be talking with you all a little bit about service.
All right, good evening, everyone. Like Patrick said, my name is Caitlin Stutsky. I'm one of the campus ministers for the Christian Service program here. And I thought we'd start off on an exciting note. What I wanted to share with you all first, before I talk about any of our kind of nuts and bolts details, is how proud I am of this year's graduating class, who spent both of their upperclassmen years in an incredibly difficult years to do lots of things, but also particularly to volunteer when we saw need increase exponentially everywhere, all over our county and our country, and also an increased difficulty in finding ways to volunteer safely, both for folks who are vulnerable and for our students and their families. And this year's graduating class, amidst all of those obstacles, still served over 38,000 hours of service. And I just think that's something that we as a community that should be proud of, as you as parents should be proud of. That's just, it's incredible end year, but especially this one. And so I just wanted to start off celebrating that, because I just think that that is so incredible. So that being said, the deadline for service projects, particularly the Lumen Christi project, was last week. Hopefully that's not news to anybody. But lots and lots of students, most of them know that that's the case. In the last week or so, any students who aren't finished, either because they haven't done all of their service project yet, or they've done it but they haven't logged it, or they've logged it but it isn't verified by the organization that they did it with. Any of those three things are kind of our three main reasons why any student at this point wouldn't be complete, has received a personal message from me on Teams, and also each student and their parent has received that same message in an email, letting them know next steps, a link to our Christian Service page that gives you a place to search service opportunities by contact level, whether your family needs, low contact at home activities, or whether you're able to volunteer in person, and where and when you can do those kinds of things. So that's a great resource for that. And so each student, there's only about 50 students in the senior class who still need to kind of tie up those last few things to complete those projects. Just as a reminder, I know this is in your handbook, and this is something I'm sure everybody knows, but the Christian Service projects are a graduation requirement, which means that it's one of the things that can put a hold on graduation tickets if it's not completed, which obviously isn't something that any of us want, especially you all, and especially me as well. So just, if you could encourage your students to reach out to me, send me a Teams message. I'm happy to partner with them in whatever they need in order to get to the finish line. So if that's, they're not sure how to log their hours, or if that's that they don't know where to complete it, or they just need someone, they're overwhelmed by maybe the number that they still need to complete, and they want someone to game plan it with. Those are all things that I love doing and do on a day-to-day basis. So if we could partner in encouraging them to come seek us out in campus ministry, that's what we're here for in those last couple of weeks, particularly when it comes to service, to help them find ways to be able to complete that project. So If you have any questions for me, the best way to reach me is on email. There's a link on the Christian Service page. You can email me right from there on SM's website. Your students also can Teams me. That's probably the fastest way for them to get in contact with me. All right, that is all from me. And next up, we have Patrick Visconti who's going to come and talk to you about some of our end of the year campus ministry activities.
All right, I'm back. If your son or daughter is deficient in hours, I do accept Bitcoin or Doji. Let's just try it up. So this evening, I'm just going to talk with you all just about a couple things. The first is Marian Mass, which is happening this Thursday. It's the last all-school Mass for our seniors. They'll be here in the gym. It's a pretty special Mass for them, at least. There's a lot going on inside of it. It includes kind of a little highlight of some senior items that highlight like what these kids have kind of gone through over the last 4 years together. We do the new installation, the handing and the passing of the torch between our outgoing and our incoming ASB officers. And then there's the senior slideshow, which is a really special opportunity for the kids to kind of see like pictures that they've submitted over time, and they just watch them kind of go by, and it kind of catalogs their 4 years that are here. That's at 9 o'clock in the morning on Thursday. It will be available via live stream for anyone who wants to kind of watch and enjoy it from that capacity. We are going to be having the seniors and the juniors here in the gym to be able to participate in that Mass in person. So that's a really kind of special thing for them. And on that same note, Baccalaureate Mass, which is going to be taking place on May 27th. And that's going to be here in the Moiso Family Pavilion in the gym. A nice, beautiful close to these kids' kind of faith journey here at Santa Margarita. There will be more information pertaining to tickets and all of that from Mr. Darwazi in just a moment when he kind of steps up and kind of goes through what graduation and ticketing and baccalaureate Mass looks like. And the last thing that I would be remiss if I didn't mention and bring up to you is just kind of like your sons and your daughters and that next step as they go off to school. I say this as an alum of this school who graduated from here and who felt the community really, really profoundly. It was so easy for me to just live my faith as a student here because of how surrounded I was by the faculty, by the staff, by coaches, as well as by my peers and the opportunities that were afforded to me. That became a lot more difficult after I left SM and I moved on to that next step in my life. And so just a couple of things that I always share with my seniors and that I share with you as the moms and the dads of our soon-to-be alum. Encourage your sons and daughters when they go off to their school of choice or whatever that next step is to seek out their respective community. It doesn't matter, right? Whether they are like Catholic or Protestant, in any one of the denominations, whether they're Hindu or Muslim or Buddhist, it doesn't matter, but like at their respective school of choice, have them seek out their community there. If you go online, it's really actually easy to find these things, you'll find out, right? So have your son or daughter go find like your family's respective kind of faith community at their school of choice or wherever it is that they're going off to, and just make a connection. Send an email, hi, my name is so-and-so, I'm gonna be an incoming freshman. I'd love to get to know a little bit more about you all, because community is one of the most central components to keeping that momentum going, right? And then the last thing is just, obviously as a family, to keep that conversation going, just to pray as a family, to be together as a family. I know that life gets really difficult as you move on from high school, and that faith component is something that keeps us grounded and keeps us healthy, right? Keeps us healthy. So, Marian Mass on Thursday, Baccalaureate Mass May 27th. More information coming on that. Praying for you all, praying for your sons and your daughters. That's it for me. And I'm going to now turn it over to Mr. Samar Darwazi.
Thank you, Mr. Visconti. Good evening again, everyone. So before I dive into Senior Week and some updates that I want to make sure that gets communicated out, I want to just remind everyone that we're doing our absolute best. Like, we're doing our absolute best at this time to really put 10 months of activity in 2 months for not only the class of 2021, but for all of our students. So I really want to look you in the eye and reiterate that, and look everyone in the eye as well, that we're really trying our best. So please bear with us. We appreciate the patience, and as things continue to change, we want to kind of adapt to that and be flexible. Parents, just a quick reminder, please continue to check the Class of 2021 webpage on the Santa Margarita website. So smhs.org website, there's a Class of 2021 page under the Parents section. Please check that. Students should continue to check their campus-like teams in Microsoft Teams for updates, as well as the 2021 webpage on the website as well. That's where we're going to be communicating updates, official information, etc. So please bear that in mind. A couple other updates for graduation announcements. So those have been ordered. They're covered with your graduation fee, and those are going to be distributed here on campus in the next few weeks. We'll be posting announcements, posting the announcement of when to pick them up on the 2021 webpage, as well as in the Campus Life team for your students to pick them up. We release those to your student. It's pretty easy. They just come by, usually a pop-up tent. They give their name, and we hand them their announcements, and they're on their way. Ticketing. So ticketing for graduation and baccalaureate mass was originally scheduled for Monday, May 10th. We are going to hold off at this time until the week of May 17th due to possible movement in tiers. So if the county moves in tiers, that could ease some restrictions. And without having to push the tickets out next week and have to do any changes, we want to wait until the week of the 17th, give it a little bit more time, and we'll definitely get those tickets out to everyone so they can make sure that they're able to attend. So just stay tuned on that. Yearbook distribution, yearbook distribution is going to be held in July 27th. This was put in an email earlier, and really the reason for this is so that the yearbook has captured the memories for the seniors and for the other students, freshmen, sophomores, and juniors. So what we're doing for the graduates at that point is to have a luncheon here on campus. We'll invite them back. They'll be able to pick up their yearbook, enjoy a meal, and sign yearbooks with their classmates at that time. All right, getting into senior week. So graduation practice is scheduled for Tuesday, May 25th. It's 9:30 here on campus. We're doing a special college sweatshirt or t-shirt panorama out on the field, where the students will be able to, the seniors specifically, will go out, meet on the field. We'll do a nice picture there. We've included in the emails, the South Coast Photographic is the company that's taking the picture. You're able to order the picture from them and have it as a nice keepsake. So that's pretty special for something that we're doing for the class. The practice will start immediately after the panorama. So after the panorama is over, we'll have all the seniors come in here into the gym, and we'll have the practice, and we'll run them through what they should expect at graduation later on that week. We're planning on hosting a senior XLT, a special senior XLT on Tuesday, May 25th, 6:30. Here on campus as well. It's an optional free event for students to enjoy a night of prayer, music, food, and fun with their classmates. Again, it's an optional event. On Wednesday, May 26th, we're planning, of course, the senior prom and cruise. You may have received an email and read it already. We have an extra allotment of tickets that'll be released later on tonight for those of you still interested in purchasing a ticket for the senior. It's 8 p.m. to 11 p.m. on Wednesday, May 26th. And again, we want to stress that the ticket link is being sent to the senior themselves. They should check their Campus Life team. So parents, if you'd like to purchase that ticket for your son or daughter, ask them for the link. They have that link. So we're not putting it online publicly to make sure that the Santa Margarita seniors have the first opportunity to purchase that ticket. On Thursday, May 27th, as Mr. Visconti had mentioned, we are planning a baccalaureate mass. It's at 5 o'clock here on campus. Again, as I mentioned, additional information about ticket distribution and the ticketing for that event will be published on the Class of 2021 webpage. It'll be coming up hopefully in the next week or so stay tuned about that, and just keep refreshing that page, and we'll be sure to communicate that as soon as we're able to. A few details for the graduates themselves. So the graduates will line up at 4:30 p.m. in front of San Francisco Solano. We'll line the graduates up, and then we'll escort them on over right before the 5 o'clock start for the ceremony itself. We estimate the baccalaureate mass, to run about 2 hours. So if you're trying to make plans afterwards, that's about the estimated time of when it'll be ending. On Friday, May 28th, we're planning a graduation for the class of 2021. We're very excited about this. It's at 10 a.m. Inside Honda Center in Anaheim. And we're planning as traditional of a ceremony as we possibly can hold. So what that means is that the graduates will be seated together on the arena floor. They'll have an opportunity to hear their name called, walk across the stage, receive their diploma cover just as they would if it was at any other venue at any other year. And again, we're really stressing that we're trying to make this possible and make this happen. Again, I know that there are other schools doing other things. This is what Santa Margarita is doing, and this is something that I feel is very important for these seniors and the graduates to experience. We are going to be distributing, as of today, we are distributing 3 tickets for inside the venue based on current restrictions and guidelines that we need to follow. If we are able to distribute more, we will. If we are able to distribute more tickets, we will. We are also working on alternative viewing locations around Honda Center. So right now parking is free, so you'll be able we're not going to be charged for parking. There's no parking pass that you need to have. But we are looking at alternative viewing locations around the Honda Center for family members who might want to come and join. We'll be able to travel there and at least participate. While they might not be able to go inside as of right now, they might be able to still attend and participate in the ceremony, pictures afterwards, etc. So again, stay tuned for that. More information will be communicated as we get closer to the event. Some logistics on graduation. It starts at 10 a.m. Graduates need to be lined up by 9, and the doors to the venue open at 9 a.m. as well. More information about what time the parking lot's open will be communicated as we get closer as well, so you can make planning purposes as you travel. The estimated end time for graduation is about 11:30 in the morning, so it's about an hour and a half ceremony run time. So as you're making plans for the rest of the day, the estimated end time is 11:30. Later on Friday, the 28th, until about 6 a.m. on Saturday the 29th, we are planning a grad night. We are planning a grad night for the entire class of 2021. For those who would like to attend, again, that optional event. More information about ticketing and location will be released later on this week. We hope in the next few days we'll be able to make those announcements as we're waiting on a few finalized items to be finalized. What we're planning as of right now is just a lot of fun, a safe and sober environment for the graduates and the seniors to enjoy. You know, food trucks, games, DJs, and again, very traditional style grad night events. So if you've had a student who's come through in the past and attended a grad night, they would experience a lot of the same type of elements that your previous child may have experienced at their grad night. Again, it's a once-in-a-lifetime event for the seniors. A lot of them are, do I want to go, do I not want to go? We encourage it. It's their last opportunity to kind of celebrate together before a lot of them may be going off to college very soon in the next week or so, and going on to the next chapter of their lives. So again, we definitely recommend that you consider that, or the student considers attending that. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and bring up Mr. Pat Keene and Mrs. Annie Fan for talking about alumni relations.
Thank you, guys. I'm Patrick Keene. This is Annie Fan. We're in alumni relations, giving, receiving, all that stuff. I'll let Annie speak.
Hi, everybody. We're really excited for you guys as your students embark on this new chapter in their lives. We are here to foster and to continue a relationship and a connection between your student and the school as alumni of the school. We are currently at like 11,000 alumni from the inception of school till right now. We have a lot of events for alumni, anything from the homecoming tailgating party to reunions. We do that in decades, and also many networking events. We ask that you encourage your student to keep in touch with us. We are here to help make connections with for your student with our 11,000 plus alumni network. So it's imperative that you encourage them to give us their contact information so that they know what's going on with the school and things like that. Also, lastly, we are going to be sending out an email to legacy families, and if you are a legacy family, we'll be doing something really special for you guys at the baccalaureate mass. So please be on the lookout for that. And then if you have any questions or anything regarding alumni relations, you're more than welcome to email or call us, and we'll be more than happy to help you guys. Congratulations again to all of your seniors.
Yeah, and just a quick personal message. I was in the charter class in '91. Myself, Tom Smith, Becky Bazuski's husband, John. We've been here since the beginning and have seen it grow like you wouldn't even believe. And we look forward to the next 30 years. And we want you and your students to know we're here for them after graduation. All right. Sorry, you're stuck with us. So yeah, which is good and bad, I guess. But we have you, we want to have our own kind of alumni business network directory, kind of, be the USC, UCLA, Notre Dame, Stanford, Ivy League. We want that kind of connection here in Southern California and beyond. Internships, once your kids are coming home for the summer, and then job placement if they need it. Graduating from college, we didn't have alumni. I could have used a placement or job search kind of engine. And that's what we want to provide for you guys and your kids. So we're here for you throughout. All right? Good.
Hi, everybody. My name is Tom Smith. I'm one of the assistant principals here. How about some audience participation? I just want to know. Raise your hand if this is your first child going off to college. Okay. Raise your hand if you're a veteran. You've had something on there. Okay, so all of you people, keep your hands up, vets. All of you people, like if this is the first time, look around for these people. Find out who you know. Put your hands down, that's fine. Thank you very much. I'll tell you why. I think Patrick Keene, was kind enough to point out that I'm a dinosaur and I've been here forever. But when our kids went through here, when our first kid was at that same place that you guys are at right now, we started thinking, oh my gosh, how does this work? What happens here? We've just had a whole lifetime of doing other things, and now we're shifting over to this other experience here. And I ran around and I started talking to other families who have already had kids in college, and it was the best thing that I could do because they had great advice to give. So these people that raised their hands, talk to them about how they did that, because I think it'll make you feel a lot more comfortable. And I'll tell you the best thing that I learned from that experience. Best thing that I learned was, I'm just trying to panic the people that are doing this remotely. No, the best thing that I learned was that there was a family that said, reserve time with your kid. Because this is what's going to happen. Your kid's going to go off to college or university, and they're going to be there, and you guys are going to think, around whenever you're bringing them back, whether it's Thanksgiving or Christmas, you're going to sit there and go, this is going to be so neat. I can't wait to spend some quality time with Johnny. And Johnny is at school right at that time saying, this is going to be so neat. I can't wait to spend some quality time with my friends. And those two are not going to be compatible. So what we did is reserve times. We sat there and said, hey, just in case you don't know this, Thanksgiving night, you'll be spending that with our family. You'll be with us. And then we're going to do this activity and that activity. And then we let them loose with everything else that went through there. Best advice that we got. And I'm sure these people will have great advice for you as well. Okay, so that's that little spiel right there. I've got some other things to go through. One of the problems with being someone who's been here for a long time is I guess I tell too many stories, because I'm looking at the agenda right here, and it's got, Caitlin down for 3 minutes, Patrick for 3 minutes, Sammer for 3 minutes, Tom for 15. Okay. So I'm sorry. So I'm going to start off, I'm going to kind of go through a list of things here, starting off with our graduation policy. So here you go, you got a kid that's about to graduate, but we do have expectations for that, and there are things that have to be met in order to actually graduate and get that diploma. So a student, so this is the list, a student needs to make sure that they've completed all the required academic credits. They need to be in good standing with the attendance and discipline office. They need to make sure that all the financial obligations have been met. They need to make sure that they've completed their Christian service obligations, like Caitlin talked to us about. And then they need to have a cumulative academic GPA of 2.0, and they cannot have any unremediated Fs on their transcript. So you need to have all that in order to get the diploma from Santa Margarita. So there might be someone sitting in the audience here that's thinking, just a quick question for a friend. What happens if there's a child that might have an F on the transcript there? So So here's what you need to know. In order to get the diploma, you need to make sure that all that's taken care of. But if there's a student that, maybe there's a student that senioritis kicked in and they're getting an F now, that sort of thing, and it's one of those things that's like, well, the clock's ticking, we're almost done with the year, there's no hope for that to turn around again. They can still walk at graduation. They won't actually get their diploma, but they will walk so that all your friends and family can see them walk and say, yep, they were over there. But we can do that if they don't have more than 2 Fs. And the reason behind that is if they have 2 Fs, we can have them come back for summer school, remediate those 2 Fs after graduation, and then we hand them their diploma, and then they're all set, ready to go. And it's just one of those things that has to happen. There actually was a year that our valedictorian had to come back for summer school, didn't get his diploma. He was our valedictorian, never took a PE course, and PE was a required course. And he kept telling us, you're not really going to hold this over my head, are you? It's just PE. So he took 2 sessions of PE that summer. So he was in great shape by the time he finished that. So, okay, some other things too. So want to let you know that your kids are almost done with their regular classes. Their last day of regular classes is Friday, May 14th. One of the things you need to keep in mind is, teachers have all their assignments that they get, right? You take a class, you get homework, the things that you need to do. All that needs to be completed by that Friday, May 14th. And then the week after that is when they do the final assessments. So if there's, if you've got that kid that has some missing assignments that they keep thinking, oh, my teacher's pretty good, I can get that done later. Well, later is coming up. So that's, what are we sitting on Tuesday right now? They've got Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then they've got next week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and boom, they're done. 8 more days of regular classes, and then that's it for regular classes for high school. All right, so that's that. And then what happens after that? The week after that, that's the 17th to the 21st, that is their final assessment week. They do not have regular classes. We used to say that was finals week, but COVID year, we say it's final assessment. So what we're saying is, hey, it's kind of up to your teacher's curriculum, what form that final assessment is going to take place. So some teachers might have a final exam, sit down, take the test. Other teachers might have, well, we're just going to do this project, or we're going to do this other assignment. So they might have other things that they're doing, so we're using kind of a vague final assessment umbrella to cover all that. So the 17th to the 21st, they don't go to any of their classes. And then on each day, they're responsible for 2 of those final assessments. And on our website, we've got a page where we list all the special schedules. And there is a special schedule there that is the senior spring semester assessments. And it lists which periods they have their final assessments in. So on Monday the 17th, all they have to worry about is periods 5 and 6. And then on Tuesday, because of our rotating schedule, they're coming in for periods 2 and 3. Wednesday is a virtual day, they're not going to have any final assessments. Thursday is period 7 and 1, and then on Friday is period 4. Just know this is on our website, so your kids can download this. They should be able to see that. But just know, they don't have to go to regular classes. They're only coming in when they have that assessment. And if they have a class that doesn't have an assessment, they don't need to be here. So I teach an IB music class. I don't have a final assessment for my class. The kids don't need to come in for that. So they're off that period. Your kids should have taken my class. Easiest class on campus. So, all right. So that's that is their exams or final assessments. They have that. Something else I want to talk about. I want to talk about the senior awards. The senior awards will be held on Monday, May 24th. It'll be here in the gym starting at 6:30. Because of COVID, the way that we're doing this is by invitation only. And what we're going to do is, if we have an award to give your kid, we're going to send an invitation to them. So if you get the invitation, that lets you know that your kid's going to have the award and you're invited to be here. If you don't get the invitation, we really don't have anything for you that night, other than great wishes. All right? The next thing I want to talk about is transcripts and college decisions. So your kids are great, and they've probably been accepted to more than one school. It's really important that we know which school your student has decided to attend. So our counseling office uses the program Naviance. I hope you guys have heard of this. And what we need to do is just have your student log in Naviance, let us know what their final decision is. They've got some other things that they want to know, like, hey, did you get a scholarship? How much was your scholarship? They've got a little survey they want you to fill, want the student to fill out. It only takes a few minutes to do. But if they can just report their college decisions to us, we really appreciate that. And then if they have any questions, make sure that they just reach out to their counselor. So it's real important that we get this stuff so that we can make sure that our counselors send the final transcript to the school that they're going to end up attending. All right, I need to put on my IT hat. We are a one-to-one program here. Your student has walked around with a Lenovo tablet for 4 years. You guys have paid a tech fee all 4 years, and now we'll give it to you for $1. So you guys have your son or daughter has this tablet. Need to let you know that the tablets, the way they're set up right now, the school has the administrative rights on that. Your son or daughter can't add software onto it. We have web safety protocols that are there to make sure that things are kept safe, that sort of thing. So if they just took that computer and left and didn't do anything with it, it would end up becoming a brick on September 30th. It wouldn't we wouldn't get a whole lot of bang out of their buck for that one. But what we'll do is we'll collect the tablets. Our guys will re-image them. They'll take them off our network. They'll go ahead and give the user the administrative rights, and then they can take that tablet and do what they want to do with that. So in my case, I had told my daughter way back when that she could get a new computer when she graduated, so she told me I wasn't going to get by with that dollar thing. So I had to get her a new computer, and I gave the old computer to my son who didn't know better. But he was happy, and he got something out of it. So the way that it works is during that final assessment week, when your son or daughter completes their last final exam, or assessment, they will walk over to the tech center, which is in the library, and they will have their student ID. They'll have a $1 bill. Please don't bring change, and please don't bring a bigger thing. What we're going to try and do is move this as quickly as we can. The student's going to walk up, and they're going to hand the tablet, the dollar, the ID. The guys will put a sticker on it so they know who it belongs to. They'll collect those. The student goes on their way with a receipt that says that they've got that. And then after the guys re-image it, they'll send out text messages and emails, and then the student just swings by and picks it up. I would say that the first couple days of the final assessment week, we get about 10% of those devices. By Wednesday and Thursday, we'll be up to about 50% of them will come in. On the last day, because most of the kids have some sort of assessment on that last day, we'll get kind of a line. We're going to have a line of about 200 people there. But the IT staff, they just do this blitzkrieg operation. It'll be a long line, but it'll be a line that moves real quick. So the kids will get up there and drop their stuff off. I want to let you know, we don't need the charger, we don't need the stylus, because we don't want to lose those. They're just dropping off the device. If your student has a bunch of stuff saved on the local machine, if they've got things saved on their desktop or on the hard drive on that machine, tell them to back that up, because our guys are just going to wipe this thing and then reload a new image on it. So anything that's on that machine will get lost. It's important that they make sure that they've got a backup of that thing. And then they get a lot of this taken care of within about a week. We say, give us about 3 weeks to get this done. But our guys are motivated to get this turned around quickly, because your kids have places to be and things to do, and the longer it takes us to get this done, the longer it is for us to arrange for the student to swing by and pick it up again. So we're going to try and move this really fast for you folks. Okay? So there you go. $1 computer. Let's see, what else do I have here? That was it. That's my list. Okay. I didn't go too far on the stories. Thank you very much, guys. Congratulations for everything. I'm going to turn it over to Joey Cleary.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. Hello, I'm so happy to be here with all of you. Thank you so much for taking time out of your schedules this evening to be here. I can't believe we're in May, and I'm sure you can't either because you have graduating seniors. So I feel like we're all so close to the finish line of high school, and yet I acknowledge that we have AP testing going on right now. We have IB exams coming. We have all kinds of final assessments and a lot of really exciting things to happen here in May. So I know that we're kind of one foot out the door and yet really excited to give an excellent final month to all of your students and celebrate with them. As Mr. Smith said, my name is Joy Clary. I'm the Director of Wellness here at SM, and hopefully you all know that we are in our first year of implementation of our wellness program after many years of planning. It's been a very fun year, and our program has grown. I'm a part-time director, and then we also have a full-time wellness coordinator, Susan Sansour, on campus full-time this year, as well as a part-time wellness counselor, Jessica McConnett. So it's been a very fun year getting to know your students. We had an excellent opportunity last week to meet them. We hosted here in the gym an ice cream social, get a handle on your college transition with Handel's ice cream, which was a big draw. Hopefully your students were there. And they are so amazing. You guys know that, but the students participated so well. They had so many great questions. Obviously, you've been talking about college and not only where you're going to go, because of course this was commit week. Some of you have probably known for a long time where your student was going, and others of you I know were nail biting. I was that kid in high school, like 2 envelopes, 2 deposit checks, crying at the mailbox, where am I going to go? Now I know. I joked with the kids about that because of course they don't have to use the snail mail to commit. You just have to whip out your credit card and make that deposit. So it was really awesome to be able to speak with them and to hear from them what's on their mind, what they want us to share with you this evening, and just to open that conversation. We're sad we don't get more time with them, but like Mr. Darwazi said, the nice thing is the SM relationship will continue, and wellness will be at that summer senior event when they get their yearbooks to be able to talk about how are they doing. It's also interesting because we have the May month of celebrations and the start of summer, and then some of your students, particularly if they're in athletics, may be leaving in July. So it's an interesting time. Sorry, I don't mean to make anybody upset. But it happens very quickly, and it's all these celebrations, and the kids have one foot out the door, and they're ready for asserting their independence. And then you'll also find these weird times of total regressions, right? Mom, could you just rub my back while I'm going to bed tonight? Dad, can you please help me with this? I don't know how to do it, and what am I going to do next year without you, right? And so it's really interesting. They go through highs and lows, as do I'm sure you, this month and over the last several months. It's really normal that we don't have a huge window of tolerance for frustrations. We, with all of the hustle bustle and the emotion of what's coming, can forget little tiny things. Where did I put my keys? I can't remember where I parked. Oh my gosh, I didn't submit your deposit for blank activity because there's so many things going on. So it's a really interesting time as parents and as students. And I think we'll talk just a moment about kind of some different steps to be able to ease and navigate the next few months, both as they get through this last month, take care of all of what they need to, celebrate, have fun, enjoy their final summer with their high school friends. They will always be friends, of course, but it changes. And then also participate in getting excited about their new college community. It was fun to talk with the students about, of course, the big roommate decision. How many of your students get to kind of have some selection input on roommates? A lot? Most. How many do not? How many does the school assign? A fewer number. So that's changed a lot since we were in school, right? It used to be you get this random phone number in the mail and you call and have the most awkward conversation of your life of who's bringing the microwave and who's bringing the refrigerator. And now it's like, if you had that opportunity, and now it's like, well, they're FaceTiming every day. I have a student who last week had 3 different coffee dates. It's like online dating, right? She was trying to decide which one was the right fit for her roommate. So there's so much that we can relate to, and of course, there's also a lot that's very new about this experience. And I think that one of the ways that we can acknowledge that, actually very similar to this very unprecedented pandemic year, is to say, I'm here with you, I love you so much and I want to support you through this. I don't necessarily have the rule book for how to do this. Let's talk about it. What's it like for you? Ask them, what are you thinking of as possible solutions to fill in the blank, to deciding whether or not you're going to follow through and play your sport that you got recruited for. Let's talk about what classes you're going to enroll in, because those are all really big decisions. And sometimes your students are wanting to jump in with 2 feet. They don't want to have any input from you. And they're like, I've got this. But then they'll come back. I don't know what to do. I should whisper into this mic because the folks at home can also hear us. But it's a really interesting process, and just expect it. I want to give 3 kind of main themes around how to navigate the next several months, both into the summer and then as they get started with school. And that's communication, trust, and resources. Communication. There's so much that we can be doing right now to help our students be open with communication about what are their needs, how are they feeling, how do they want us to participate in the process. Open those doors of communication and start talking about it. There's a lot of really great conversations that I would recommend having this summer. Some of them around what kind of communication do they want next year, and what kind of communication are we hoping for or expecting. Technology has changed that, of course. Many of you will be texting or FaceTiming your students every day. Others of you may kind of need to reach out to them and say, hey, I'd love to hear from you. Maybe we can Zoom on Sunday or have a FaceTime as a family while we're having dinner. Maybe we can call you. Would you be open to making time in your schedule to connect with us regularly? Other people, it might be once a month, but it changes a lot. And if you can start having that open dialogue with your kids about what you'd love to see and what would feel supportive to them, it can be a really good way to just establish that foundation now. The other thing that we want to talk about is finances. Students can survive on a very small budget if they have a meal plan at school and their housing paid for. They don't need spending money. They would not be happy to hear me say that. Other students have a very large budget. It doesn't matter what your family budget is. Have that conversation early in the summer. I would recommend, if you're not already, starting to practice those financial independence decisions in whatever manner you're going to have it. So are you going to direct deposit into their account? And if so, start doing that once a month, if you're going to do it once a month. If not, you can do it twice a month. Anything that works for your personal situation is absolutely great. You just need to be able to talk about it and then talk with them about what happens when they run out of money. Because that will happen, right? We've all done that and get into the, 22nd of the month and we're like, oh goodness, I'm out. It's very different than in high school when you're running out the door. Mom, Dad, can I have $20? Or can you, just Venmo me some money? I'm going to such and such event. So to be able to dialogue about what does that look like, what are your expectations, what does it mean to have scholarships versus grants versus loans that need to be repaid, what happens with credit cards, what are interest rates. I'm sure you're having all of these conversations already, but it's an interesting thing when it changes from students kind of listening with one ear and they're like, yeah, but I live with my parents and everything is paid for, or most things are paid for. And then all of a sudden, when they're doing that independently, it comes with some teaching and training. So you can figure out how that works in your family and when to start that process. Who remembers getting care packages in the mail? It's so powerful, right? I was joking about snail mail, but it is not gone to the delight of going to the actual mailbox or whatever the student center is to receive your mail and get some care packages. So you can start thinking about who are the people in your student's life that you might even drop a note to in the fall and say, hey, so here's Johnny's address, and would you be open to sending them something? Because some of those lifelines can be really important. It can also be a reminder to their student of how wide their community is and how much they are loved. We know that if you think back to the best days of college, was it your freshman year or your junior and senior year? Junior and senior year for most people. Freshman year is really hard. You're going to get that call that's like, I don't think I'm in the right place, I made the wrong decision, I have to transfer. And that's really normal. So many students have a little bit of that buyer's remorse where they're like, oh my gosh, I saw Kelly's Facebook post or her snap of whatever she was doing today, and that looks more fun. I'm not at the right school. Prepare for it. Do you recognize that? For those of you who have older kids, have probably had this conversation, right? It's really hard to have the students sit with that discomfort of knowing, am I in the right place? A lot of students go through a honeymoon period of that first 6 to 8 weeks at school, and things are fun and new and different, and it's football season. Hopefully there can be football next year in person, and there's so many fun things that are happening in the fall as they get to know people. And then after around 6 to 8 weeks, the newness wears off, and if they haven't found their niche, which is super normal, they feel like, I gotta come home, or I gotta go to wherever my friends are because they're having more fun. It looks more fun on social media. So college is amazing and such a powerful time, but we can all expect that there are some low lows, and we wanna sit with them with that, talk through what are your opportunities for resources on campus, what can we do about this, encourage them to try everything under the sun. We all joke about underwater basket weaving, but really college is so amazing for all of the opportunities that it affords students. I wish I could go back and go to all the really cool speakers that were on my college campus. Alas, here we are as adults in the world going like, oh, that was really a fun time, and I didn't take advantage of everything I possibly could. So the more that they can try in freshman year, the better they'll start to find, where do I feel most comfortable? Where do I most feel like I can thrive? What's really fun for me to get connected with different social groups on campus and feel like I can make a positive contribution and have community that supports me. If that call becomes more frequent than a few times of having a really tough time, also know that the resources, our second word, on campus are vast. College campuses have put a tremendous amount of effort in over the last 10 years, really, in mental health resources and having them extremely accessible to campus, to students. Almost all campuses have very a depth of services offered on their college campuses that are free to students, and they will help them. They also know the surrounding community better than we might from home, right? So if your student would benefit from additional services in the community, the on-campus resource center will have really good ideas about what kind of resources might be available to them, and I really encourage reaching out. And by reaching out, something to keep in mind is that when your student has turned 18, all of a sudden that changes too. And they really, really expect that it is your student who is accessing services. Whether it's tutoring resources, financial aid office, housing issues, and they want to switch roommates, they're having a conflict with a professor that they're not able to resolve, in need of mental health resources. If you call, you will be able to get the same information about your student that I would be able to get, which is the general publicly available information at most campuses. Most of the time they're going to say, thank you so much for your call. Please have your student contact us. I know that you've experienced that somewhat in high school because we really do try to prepare them for that, to be able to advocate to adults and reach out to faculty and staff if they're having challenges in high school. But we also have a lot of eyes on them, and we are in constant communication with you about how do we as a community support your student. And in college that looks different due to FERPA and all of the confidentiality protections for individuals as adults. So a couple recommendations around that would be, if you are comfortable at move-in time, asking to exchange numbers with your student's roommate. That can be very powerful in the case of emergency. I recommend emphasizing and sticking to, don't contact your student's roommate unless it's an emergency. That would, of course, be a violation that would feel not very good to them if you were trying to check in on curfews or dating habits or academic, successes or anything like that. But it can be helpful to know that you have a way to reach your student. And of course, all freshman dorm situations, of course, have RAs that you would also be able to contact. But sometimes it's easier just to be able, if you're not hearing back from your student and you have a concern, check in with the people that they're living with to make sure that they're safe. There's also, of course, legal processes to that you can have an affidavit signed for your college student if your student will sign it, and most students are willing to do that. So feel free to contact our counseling department if you'd like some resources to be able to know kind of the legal process behind still having some rights to information around your student. The last note that we wanted to talk about is that trust component. So really trusting in yourself. You have all done an incredible job. You have put your student through 4 years of an amazing school, if they've been here 4 years or however long it has been that they have been at SM. They are ready for this. We have prepared them, you have prepared them. They're so excited, and we want to give them that leeway to go into the world and shine, and to find out more of who they are and the positive ways in which they can contribute. So trust and celebrate the amazing parents that you are and the ways in which you have prepared them. Trust in them and help them trust in themselves. If you haven't read Julie Lithcott-Haynes' book, How to Raise an Adult, I recommend it for this summer, and she just released the student version of it, which is It's Your Turn, How to Be an Adult in the World, and it's specific to the high school population that are going to be young adults very soon. So I recommend that. Open the door with them, help them know, hey, if you want to call me and vent, just tell me. I just want to vent and still problem solve. Right? Sometimes we're, I can get in on this and give you 100 ideas of ways to resolve this situation that you're having. We can start by opening that door and communicating, how can I support you right now? Would you like me just to listen? Would you like me to give you some ideas? What are you thinking of doing? What are some options that you might be able to do to solve this? Podium's flying away. Talking with them about what are their expectations in terms of support from you, and how, and then letting them know the same thing. It's not that they're closing the door on needing parents. They will always need you and love you so much. It's letting them know that you're there with such confidence in them, and you know they can do it. And when they have questions, you're the best resource. We're here for them as SM community, as are all of you, to be able to continue the conversation. Those are some thoughts from the wellness team. I had the pleasure of being able to talk with our team, as well as Krista Crafts, Director of College Counseling, about any suggestions that the counseling department has. We are really excited to continue the conversation with you. I think we have about 2 minutes or so if anybody has any questions or specifics on their mind. I also can stand by the door and share this with you. This was created by our wellness department and provided to the students who attended the Get a Handle on College Transition last week. So your students may already have this. It's really short, just 15 quick tips that are kind of some talking points to open this conversation. Yes? For sharing that. I'm just going to share your question with our folks at home. He was asking, if I understand you correctly, to be able to, for us as a school, SM community, as well as for all of you, to be facilitating discussions with students around particularly transitioning during a COVID year and the differences in opinion and understanding about COVID in general, as well as the limitations, which are, of course, different geographically and in people's own family experiences. So I appreciate you mentioning that. I think it can be just like so many other things this year, but COVID is a whole different thing in and of itself. Important to talk with them about understanding and respecting that people may come from a very different point of view than you. They may have had a different experience. They may have had very different guidelines depending on what state and county and their individual family. So it can be hard, as you pointed out, for adults to have that conversation and to extend grace to one another and understand that we come from differences of opinion sometimes, but we can always treat one another with respect, be listening with an open ear, and respond if your student gets a little stuck. Let's say they have a roommate that has a very different COVID perspective than they do, either far more cautious or far more liberal related to not necessarily following the same kind of health protocols that your student might be comfortable with. If that were the situation, for them to be able to open the discussion around setting boundaries, this is what I'm comfortable with, this is what I'm hoping we might be able to do for safety in our room. Thank you for sharing so much about your experience, and I can see that I was raised a little bit differently, or I've experienced this year a little bit differently. I'm excited to learn what your experience is like, but I can see that we might not always see eye to eye on this, right? So giving them some of those phrases that they can use, because it is very, very hard and it can turn heated super quickly, right? And all of a sudden, it's a very emotional topic, and people's family experiences around this are very different. So all of a sudden, you might be stepping into a landmine that you're not realizing, and if we can support our students to have some phrasing, again, starting with those tenets of grace and kindness and respect towards one another, but also having them actually have some tools to say, okay, that's okay if you feel that way, and I don't have to feel exactly the same. How can we come to a compromise within our friend group, or probably harder, within our dorm room if they're sharing? Thanks for asking. What other things are on your mind? Questions? For those of you who have been through this before, things you want to share as words of wisdom for the group? Our doors are open. Our email that goes to our whole team is wellness@smhs.org. Feel free to give input, ask questions, help us connect with your students if they have particular questions or concerns prior to graduation and after. We're really happy to be able to know all of them and work with them. Thank you so much for your attendance tonight. I'm going to turn it back over to Tom Smith for closing, and I will meet you at the door for anybody who would like some of the brochures. Thank you.
When I did the audience participation, I forgot one thing. How many people are going to be empty nesters? Oh my gosh, look at that. Congratulations. You'll spend 6 months staring at your spouse saying, what do you want for dinner? I don't know, what do you want for dinner? But then after that, it gets so great. It's wonderful. Your kid will come back home for summer, and after about halfway through summer, you'll be thinking, when are they leaving? All right, guys, listen, I want to let you know. Santa Margarita is a beautiful campus. Santa Margarita has great faculty and staff. Santa Margarita is a great community, but really at the end of the day, it's a great community because we have great kids. I want to thank you so much for sharing your kids with us. Honestly, I want you to know, our charism is Caritas Christi, the love of Christ. I see it every day in your children. They're a gift, and we're so lucky to have had them here. You guys have done a great job. Congratulations. Thank you for being here tonight. Fastest meeting I've had all day. We're out in less than an hour. Thank you, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your week.